What's up, you guys, and welcome back another episode of the Smart Talk, where we talk about real struggles, real stories, and entrepreneurs came from the ground up. Today, I have the lovely special guest here today. I got my homegirl, Faith Acosta, in the building.
Yes, ma'am.
What's up, Faith? How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. You look a little nervous. You didn't snort no pre-workout before we started?
No, definitely not. No, snorting is crazy.
Is that a thing?
Pre-workout is crazy.
Is that a thing in the gym community to snort pre-workout?
Honestly, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Do you take pre-workout?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore. Yeah, I stopped taking that shit. That shit makes my stomach hurt.
Yeah.
It just makes me cracked out, bro. I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack when I did it. I was like,
Definitely. And then people have been doing like pre-workout with energy drinks.
oh, that's wild.
Yeah,
crazy.
that shit is crazy.
Doesn't it enlarge your heart? Like things like that?
They enlarge your heart.
Enlarge it, like make your heart. Like I don't know. Like I thought, like
It makes your heart race. But I don't
yeah,
know.
it makes your
It's
heart
not
race.
crack, dog.
It's not crack.
You get a bigger heart.
You get a bigger heart.
Sweetheart.
You become a sweetheart.
Well, Faith, I know a lot of people in Albuquerque, New Mexico, you kind of have like a big face in the community and on Instagram and stuff like that. I want people to know like kind of like how you came up as far as being a bodybuilder, whenever your childhood, whenever you were growing up, like tell me some more stuff about yourself.
So I began bodybuilding in high school, really. I was an athlete. I did cheerleading, like from middle school to up to high school. I believe it was my junior year when the team was getting prepped and ready for state, and we were doing conditioning, and truthfully, I thought I could take it a step further by making myself better for me and the team. So I started going to the gym. I went with my grandma because we lived in Los Lunas, like El Cerro Mission, so it's like about 30 minutes to Los Lunas. So my grandma was always like an early bird. Me and her would go like at 5 in the morning before school. That way I could get extra conditioning in. And then from there I just started like learning more about fitness. Yeah.
What made you want to get into bodybuilding? Like, were you just fascinated by a girl, like the way she looked, or was it like your insecurities, or like what was it?
It was honestly, I'm gonna say it was starting from being an athlete in high school, and then kind of getting more fascinated with that. I did get bullied a lot when I was in high school, so that does like play into that. Then I just like went from there, and bodybuilding just became an everyday thing. I started training with Dion my junior year, and then just wanted to take it a step further. There's a story behind wanting to compete last year and actually competing, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah. When you tell them about people making fun of you or like bullying you in high school, why did they do that? Did you look funny or did you look funny?
Well, no. So kids are mean when they're younger.
Yeah.
As you know, nobody really like understands like basic human anatomy and how the body works. They just look at someone that looks a little bit different, a little bit chunkier, and they right away result to like mean stuff towards them. I didn't necessarily believe it until I kept hearing it, and I was like, well, there's one person that could really change that, nobody else but me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So flipped the switch, and I started educating myself more about health and fitness. So it definitely did play a part, the bullying, but it was also for like my own health. My family, they're Mexican, so they do eat a lot of good food. Growing up, my grandma made a lot of good food, so that was a big struggle transitioning into like macros and seeing what was like supposed to be given to me. I forgot the question.
No, you're
So
good.
you were doing all that while you were in high school, or was that after high school?
This was definitely in high school when I started paying more attention to food and how it's more of a resource rather than something to just eat because like it's really good. It's more like a resource. Like it helps you keep going rather than pleasure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so when it comes to goals and ambitions, a lot of parents are usually not supportive of their son or daughter's goals. Like, were your parents supportive of your goals as far as like being an athlete / bodybuilder?
No.
No?
I think my family definitely had the aha moment when I was prepping last year for my competition. They thought it was so silly. They're like, are you going to win anything? And they just kept kind of picking and like growing up from an like ethnic family, they're just like, why don't you eat? Like everything's celebration, food is behind it. So that was tough. But when they finally went to the competition and they seen that more people like this are doing that, more kids like my age, they finally were like, okay, like this is a real sport. This is like an actual thing.
Is there anybody else in your family that's in that realm, so to say?
No, actually,
No?
I'm the first one. And my family, I'm not trying to like put anything bad out, but they did grow up a little bit obese. Funny story, me and my brother actually got CYFD called on us when we were younger for being overweight.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, you just slamming those tamales, huh?
No, definitely. Like,
I don't know.
yeah.
I feel like that's like a Latino culture thing. Like me being from Brazil, I was chubby when I was a kid too.
Yeah.
And then when I moved here, I started getting into sports, and I played soccer, but not to the point where I was conditioned for it, you know. And then when I got here, I was just see like we had PE every day. In Brazil, we never had physical education. Our physical education would go play soccer for 20 minutes, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then after that, like I started making a change into lifting, and then my family, even my cousins, they started going into the gym, and like it was cool to see that the transition.
Definitely.
But it's definitely a Latino thing, I think.
Yeah, you start seeing the impact because from like the cultural aspect of it, like you said, like there's a birthday, so we're gonna make pozole, or we're gonna make a big feast, and they judge you if you don't eat it, and they're like, oh, you're just being rude if you don't eat it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, not only that too, the drinking, like you have like kids' birthday parties, and you see your uncles getting trashed and fucked up, like drinking so much.
Yeah.
And it's like a Latino culture. Yeah, we
it just
drink.
becomes
we
like a
drink
norm,
lot.
like part of it.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to bodybuilding, it's like you're predominantly like a man sport. Like, do guys and girls like make fun of you for like wanting to like kind of be bigger than the average girl and compete and stuff?
Most definitely.
Really?
I think it comes, so that does going back to the background of like why I started. When I started, I mean, the beauty standard for women has always been really, really bad, or you're just always told to be skinny. You're always told that you have to be skinny to fit in. You have to be skinny to look like a certain way, look a better way. And then you had BBLs come into place, and it's always something, and that's like the beautiful. But when I first started, I did just want to be skinny. I just was tired of getting made fun of. I just wanted to be skinny. I did resort to unhealthy habits. I would starve myself. I was bulimic for the longest time. And I just didn't understand like the physical aspect of it. And I did in a way, but I more wanted just to be skinny. I didn't want to lift weights. I just wanted to be on the treadmill for an hour, like maybe 2 hours, because I just wanted to be skinny. It became so bad that I'd look in the mirror and I'd be like, why do I keep eating? I just want to like stop. And then obviously like you get dehydrated, and then there's like physical things that come upon it. You feel like fainting, and I actually did faint one time at a basketball game.
Really?
So I was trying keto.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got, what is it called, keto sick. So like I've been through the trends, like all juice diet, keto, no sugars. Like they didn't help me, and it was more of a detriment to my mental health. And that's why I wanted to learn more about what my body needed. And I think that's really important, because everybody's body is different, especially like as like a person, women in general. Like I know you guys can't like relate to this, but you do change, your body does change during like your menstrual cycle. So it differentiates from like the woman to the man during, or like when it comes to fitness. You guys have a different body than we do.
Yeah.
So learning more about like my body, that's like where fitness like comes into play.
Yeah. Whenever you're like, you know, I'm sure you're like sad and depressed and kind of insecure about your body when you're getting all skinny and stuff like that. What was like the moment or like the feeling where you're like, you know what, I need to stop, I need to change, I need to like fix my life around my mental health and my body?
Truthfully, I'm gonna give it all to Dion, my trainer. He's seen that this wasn't like a healthy way. Like when I would go in and lift with him, I would be like like wanting to pass out, and he's like, because you're not eating. And I was like, you don't know that. And obviously, like, it got bad too because I couldn't perform in my sport effectively because I was like just messing myself all around.
Yeah.
Where I just had to step back and be like, yeah, this is not for me. What is going to be for me? What's going to help me become a better, stronger, healthier person? And it doesn't matter what that beauty standard is. It's what I feel beautiful in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if somebody, let's say a girl, like a young girl in your shoes when you're in high school, maybe they're getting bullied or having any sort of, mental, I wouldn't say disorders, but challenges. And then they want to get into, no, that sounds bad. That sounds horrible. But anyway, let's say they want to get into bodybuilding or lifting just to have a better outlook of themselves. Do you recommend them going straight into having a personal trainer, or how would you guide somebody that won't see your shoes when you first started?
I would definitely say educate yourself on your why first, and make sure it's valid. Not because you want to be skinny. Being skinny isn't everything. It's about being strong. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a skinny girl for so long. I didn't even want to touch the weights because I didn't want to look like a man. That's another big thing about being like a woman in the bodybuilding field is that you're always being compared to a man. If you get too big, you're going to look too muscular, too manly. There's no such thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, IFBB pros do look a little crazy, but they're strong. That's dedication. That's hard work. Mm-hmm. Being part of the fitness industry is hard work. And it's kind of an insult to say that you're going to get like that. Mm-hmm. Because you can't just get like that quick. It comes with time. It's a process. And I would just say definitely educate yourself more on being strong rather than skinny. Because it's not all about being skinny. Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like being a weightlifter / bodybuilder, like how much discipline do you really have to maintain your diet, not sip any alcohol, stick on your workout routine, not skip gym days, that's just kind of hard, because anybody can get motivated, right, for a day or two or a week, but the consistency part, that's the hard part a lot of people struggle with,
It's remembering your why you started. Consistently remembering why you started. I'm going to be honest, there's days that you don't, I don't want to go. I don't want to be there. I'd rather be somewhere else. But then I remember why I want to go there because I want to be better for myself. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're wanting to do a competition, you're wanting to see yourself at that peak. So you want to keep going. I guess just remembering your why.
Mm-hmm. What are I know when you go in the gym, obviously you want to have better habits. What are some of the pros that you saw in your life? What are some of the habits that you changed that you used to have that now are better in your life?
I would say definitely because I have a sweet tooth. So I think when you look at TikToks that are sugar-free, desserts or there's a lot of resources out there where you can have those meals that you want, but in a macro-friendly way. Mm-hmm. So I think that was probably the biggest turnovers that I realized that there's a way to eat this, but in a more macro-friendly way. Mm-hmm.
Yo, when people talk shit about you, about you weightlifting and stuff, what do you do to handle that? Do you kind of just X them out of your life? Do you talk shit back?
No, definitely not.
No.
So have you ever heard the term hurt people hurt people?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
You haven't? I guess you've never been hurt, bro. Look, keep going.
Bulletproof, dog.
If you have a nasty remark to say, I mean, even growing up, your parents tell you, if you don't have something nice to say, keep it to yourself. Mm-hmm. And if somebody does because there are weird people that do just have to say it. There's no reason to lash back at somebody. They're obviously unhappy about themselves. So just move on with your life.
So you would say it doesn't affect you at all?
It doesn't affect me, no.
That's good. A lot of people don't know how to deal with adversity like that.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Everyone's on their own wavelength. Everyone's on their own goal. If I stop to acknowledge these bad comments or lash back at them, then that's taking more energy and time. And wasted time is worse than wasted money.
Time is money too.
Yeah, time is money. So how big do you want to get?
So I'm a wellness competitor. The goal right now is to get more definition in the legs, grow some mass in the legs. I definitely do want to compete probably next year again. I'm giving myself a year just because last year it's a lot to go through a competition prep. I wouldn't necessarily say like I have like an end goal. I just love working out.
I see. How long is a prep time for a competition for
It's-
you?
Last year was my first time, and it was about 6 months.
6 months. Oh, wow.
Yeah, walk us through like what those 6 months were like, leading up to the competition,
They were rough. They were so rough. So I wanted to start doing, I wanted to do the competition just to take my fitness to the next level, my passion for fitness to the next level. I would say like competing definitely helps you dive deeper into the love of fitness because you understand it a little bit better. You also understand yourself more and how you operate in tough situations, in tough spots. So when I first decided to do the competition, I had gone through a bad relationship in the months leading up to this, and my trainers saw that I wasn't going to the gym. I stopped going to the gym entirely because of this. It was a pretty bad relationship, but he knows that I loved the gym, and I just stopped going, and I got really depressed, and I was falling into a deep hole, and he sat me down. He was like, well, you could either keep going down this like deep hole, or you can get back up and show out like for yourself. So said, you know what, I do want to do that. And he's like, well, you have to show me you're fully dedicated. So January, February, it's all consistency, kept going, showing up. And then he finally asked me in early March, do you want to do that competition in November? I said, yes, I would more than willing be happy to do the competition in November. Because I had always asked him, I had always told him, like, D, like, I want to do a bodybuilding competition. He always told me, I have to see the consistency. It's not about just wanting to do a competition. Because you go through so much during this. You have to be driven to finish. And I said, yeah, like, I kept asking him, and then he finally said, like, this will be, like, good for you to do, like, yes, you can do it. So March, it was like the pre-prep before the prep. So it was constant cardio, getting down, because I was a little bit bigger. I had just gone through a pretty traumatic part of my life. But yeah, so March was tough. The next following months were tough. They're more glorified. It was more like, I'm gonna do a competition in November. Like, let's keep going. And then the meals started getting harder. The workout started getting harder, and I was like, I can't give up. I got to keep going. I put myself through this, and that's the thing about fitness. Like, nobody else puts you through it but yourself. And I think that's also like the self-care rewarding part of it, is that no one's gonna hold your hand, no one's gonna move your feet. It's gonna be you. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's going to be you eating the meals. Like, I give a lot of props to Dion, like, as a trainer, but he always like reminds me that at the end of the day, it's you eating your meals. It's you putting yourself on that treadmill. It's you lifting up those weights. So give yourself more credit. So it's more of a self-love part that I would say fitness is. You learn to love yourself more as a person by putting yourself through it and actually seeing yourself at that finish line. Because when you're on that stage, it's such a rewarding feeling to be like, I finished this and I put myself through this. Let's run it again. Yeah. Let's keep going.
You see the fruits of your labor.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was there a point where you're like, fuck this, I'm a quit?
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. But that's why I said you have to remember your reasons why. A couple of components went by. Like, there's a couple of stuff that happened the month prior to it that I was like, is it even like worth it? Should I even keep going? I'm already this far, and I got to keep going. I got to finish it. Like, something about me is, if once I get started on something, I have to finish it. Because why am I going to start something and not finish it?
Yeah.
I know, like when a lot of people are competing and stuff, when those type of events, like they want to get the upper edge. Or did you stay natty, or did you take like?
Yes, I'm natty.
You're natty? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever thought about like taking steroids or
Absolutely.
enhancements?
Yeah, I think that as a bodybuilder, you do look at that stuff and you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe if I like take this, I'll be bigger. Maybe I do this, but it's not about how fast I get there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process. You have to see it through. I'm not saying anything towards people that are taking like stuff like that, but I think that if you are wanting to do stuff like that, you have to educate yourself on it a lot more than you think. Because it's not about just wanting to do it. It's wanting to do it, and there's so many consequences, and there's so many stuff behind it. It's not about just getting big. It's about like the mood swings. It's about like a bunch of other things that go into it. And that's like anything when it comes to fitness. Just because it says it's going to do this, make sure that your body's like equipped for it. Mm-hmm. So, like I always tell people when they want to start their fitness journey, talk to your doctor first, get a full physical, see how your health is and see what you can handle. Because people right away, they'll want to take energy drinks or the pre-workout. Yeah. And if you have a crappy heart, then why are you going to do that to yourself?
Yeah.
You can't just pick it up because it says it's good for you. You got to educate yourself on this stuff.
Yeah. How do you feel when people be like, oh, this person's this big because they took steroids or they took enhancements or they're cheaters? Like, how do you feel about that when people say that shit to other people?
Everybody that says that doesn't know what they're going through. They don't know what it's like. Because, yes, it's a quicker way, but it's still hard work. Mm-hmm. People that are on this stuff, they are educated on what it does to their body. So they have to work like 10 times harder, too. It's not just taking it and I get big. They're also like dealing with the side effects upon it. So to those people, I'd say just be quiet, honestly. You don't know what you're talking about. Everyone's working hard here.
Yeah. How common is like PEDs in the bodybuilding realm? Or just in the gym in general? I guess, do you know a lot of people that are on enhancements?
Yes.
Well, when it comes to bodybuilding, like a lot of people don't understand it's a pretty expensive sport when it comes to your dieting. Yes. The gym trainer, the gym fee, gear and stuff like that. Like, how do you kind of manage your financial part and also like your work-life balance?
That's another big thing when people who are wanting to get into fitness is they have to understand that the schedule has to align. If you're a morning person, then you wanting to go, or that you have like work at a certain time, then fit the gym in. I'm sorry, what was the question again? It's my ADHD.
No, you're good. I asked you about the financial part about being a bodybuilder, because you got to kind of balance your financial part and then also your...
It gets expensive. It gets very expensive. You have to take your supplements into take your food. It's based on your like meal prep, what your body needs, and that's why I said to educate yourself more on what your body needs. It's been a while for me. That's why I like know like my way around it and stuff. So you just have to be more like organized with your like schedule. Yeah. And understand your schedule, because if you know that you're not a night person, then why are you working out at night? Yeah. If you know you're not a morning person, why are you working out in the morning? Mm-hmm. It's going to benefit you. You have to do this to benefit you.
Mm-hmm. So when you competed, right? Like, what was like your moments before you're walking up on that stage? Like crowd cheering your name. You saw all the competitors, like how they looked and stuff. Like run me through like your emotions, your anxiety, and all that.
That day was rough. That day was so rough. So as a wellness competitor for the competition that I did do, we were at the end of the line. Mm-hmm. But
go ahead and say it.
We were unaware of the schedule
mm-hmm.
For the competition. We weren't. They didn't communicate the schedule with us, so we're dehydrated. as fuck.
Yeah.
We're pumping back there for like a couple of hours, and we can't drink a lot of water because we don't want to bloat ourselves. We're completely dried out.
Mm-hmm.
So it was tough. It was like working out without water and food.
Oh.
But leading up to it, you just kept like telling yourself, I'm just gonna be on there for a little bit, and then I can just get off. And then I wasn't even thinking about food. I was thinking about water. Because a lot of people ask, they're like, well, what are you gonna eat the first minute you get off the stage? I'm like, I just want water.
Yeah.
So going like towards that, I guess like I was just thinking about like when my next drink of water was gonna be.
When you got on stage, did those worries, did it go away, or were you still thinking about them while on stage?
I think that my nerves like went away.
Mm-hmm.
I think doing cheer in high school, competitive cheer, like really like helped me. It was like kind of like a natural thing. I thought I would be more nervous,
Yeah.
but I consistently practiced my posing. So when I went out there, I just had to show out and.
Just came naturally.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it.
Were you timid looking at the other girls? Like, oh shit, like this chick's jacked too.
Honestly, no.
No?
We all worked hard to get there. We all knew what it took to get there. So if anything, it was rewarding to see how hard other people work too.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
What did you place?
Yeah, no, we never asked that. This entire time.
Yeah.
So I got a first in my class.
You got first overall?
No, not overall. I got second overall in
Damn.
wellness. Yes.
Out
I
of
bet
how
you
many?
hate that chick in first place, huh?
No, that's my
But you hate the way you
homegirl.
trying to start drama. How many people were competing?
Truthfully, I don't remember. I know it wasn't that many in the wellness category, but this was an all-natural competition for that one. So there wasn't that many people, and three of the girls were Dion's clients. So I had practiced with them. I had worked out with them. The girl that won overall was actually one of my friends that was also his client. So it was a little tough. Because it was another client of Dion's, but I was so proud of her because like I said, I know how hard she worked. I know how hard I worked. So being upstage with her, and she's competed before. So I was like, dang, is like my physique that like good? Like
Yeah.
it's being compared to hers. Like that's crazy because she looks like crazy good.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't your expectation to place that high?
No, truthfully. I just, I didn't think that I was going to do that well.
Okay.
Well, you said
Yeah.
your parents didn't really support you, right? So like whenever you did play second place, like and first over in your class, like how'd they feel? Like were they ecstatic for you? Were they proud?
They were super proud. It was my mom, my auntie, a couple of my friends that were there, my brother and my sister-in-law. Like, it was a big shocker for them to see that this is an actual thing that people do.
Yeah.
They enjoyed it.
So what's you say you're in the wellness category. What's the, what do they look for in that category? What's the requirements or
Like leg definition and mass.
definition? This comes with I guess human interaction between females and males. Do you experience any I guess creepy dudes, or just how do the guy approach a woman in the gym? I feel like that's a question that a lot of people want to figure out, if that's a place to approach somebody.
I've never been approached at the gym,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that's because I look intimidating.
Do you feel guys get insecure about how you look sometimes in the gym?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think it's the place to hit on a girl, truthfully. I feel like the gym is a place of escape and a place of therapy. And if you're that interested and you're that down bad, then wait till they're at the front when they're just getting started on their workout or when they're leaving, not during it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
when it comes to getting into a relationship, because you're a little bit more bigger than the average dude, right?
The average
Does that affect your relationships and what you look for in a guy and stuff? Like, do you want someone that's physically fit like you, or it doesn't really matter?
I don't think it, to me, all that matters is if the man is well equipped and as far as him knowing himself, and like a deeper level, and he has ambitions, he has goals. Physical aspect, as long as he takes care of himself, it doesn't matter like if he has muscles. As long as he's taking care of himself, that's all that matters, mentally and physically. Doesn't matter if they have big muscles, small muscles. As long as they're taking care of them, that's all I care about. Yeah.
So I see a post on your Instagram page, right, where you're, you have, it's like two cut up pictures, where one where you're like really swole and like you're physically fit, and the other one's you're a little bit more chubby and you have more fat on you, right? Like when you look at that old picture of yourself, right, do you just be like, wow, like I was such in a different place at that time, like different mindset, different mentality, like I'm really proud of how I came up this far in my life?
Truthfully, that picture from before, I've been lifting for about 8 years. So I did have a little bit more body fat on me, but I still had muscle. So I guess into technical terms, I was more bulky rather than like chunky or anything. I cut weight. So the two pictures represented there are both healthy. They're both a person that was going to the gym and taking care of themselves, just in a different phase of bodybuilding.
I see.
So I'm proud of both of them. I wasn't putting them next to each other for like comparison. It was like, this is what that looks like when you're at this phase of bodybuilding and this phase of bodybuilding. Because realistically, it's not sustainable to keep that cut for a very long time. It sucks.
How low does your body fat percentage go during your cut?
I never.
You never checked?
No.
Oh, okay.
Whenever you like look back on yourself, like when you were a little kid, and what type of person you are now, like how like proud are you like from what you came up? Because you sound like you were kind of like insecure about yourself, didn't really know who you are, trying to figure out like what you want out of life. Like, do you really feel like you've kind of just really got past that hump and no one can really like knock you off your boat?
Can you ask the question again?
No, I got you. All right. Okay, so whenever you're like, in your early ages, like you seem like you're insecure about yourself, you were getting bullied on, do you look back and be like, wow, like I've grown so much as a person where like no one can really like say any mean or harmful things to me that it's really gonna affect my life because I know who I am now and no one can ruin like my mojo and what I got going on?
Exactly. I'm super proud of the person I came. Every experience there's a reason why they call it an experience, because you could either use that to make yourself better or come down from it and go a separate route. I'm extremely proud of myself because obviously words hurt, even to the strongest people. But if you know who exactly you are as a person and you make yourself happy, then it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, as long as you're happy with yourself, like genuinely.
Wow, like I hope anyone listening to this podcast, like, and especially the females, like they get really inspired by your story and how you came up, and hopefully inspire young women and young athletes out there to persevere through the tough times and through the bullying, through the hate, and really trying to find themselves as a person. So I'm really glad and I'm really proud of you that you came on this podcast and got to share your story, and hope people really get inspired by you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I got you. I appreciate
Thank you for
it.
coming.
Yeah, before we end today's podcast today, I want to give a huge shout out to our two main sponsors. We got Hookah Kings, the top rated hookah lounge in New Mexico, where we pride ourselves on great customer service and a great hookah experience, and Merino Media, quality content for your business and image. And I'll see you guys next time on the Smart Talk.